And they haven't received any. Thank you.
Turn on.
So, greetings, everybody. I don't know. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So I want to welcome you to the town hall. How many are here for the first time in this town hall room? Okay.
15 years.
So this is where town council meets. So you're welcome to come to the meetings. My name is Etta Zasloff. I am acting chair of the Economic Development Commission for the time being. It's a commission that was like not meeting or just, I don't know what they called it, vacant for 17 years in Hopkinton. So I said that needs to stop and signed up and got to be the first member and then stimulated a few more. And we even increased the number to 10 so we can have 10 members. We have 6 active right now. And we're looking to fill those other 4 seats. So if any of you are interested, we have applications that you can apply. It's an appointed position by the town council. So you fill out the application, drop it off to Marita, and the town council will consider and appoint. So I want to introduce the members that are active right now. We meet once a month, occasionally twice a month. Like if we have to, like to get prepared for this meeting, we met a couple of times in 1 month, but it's usually just a once a month meeting. So our first person is Michelle McCrae, Deb O'Leary, Jim Chabot, Mary Turco, and Jasmine Roy is our town council liaison, who has been very active in helping us kind of pull this together and do all kinds of things. It's nice to have a good town council member who is on board with you, whatever you do. So I don't want to take a lot of time, but I do want to say that a couple of things. The applications, if you're interested in serving on any commissions, and I'm going to read off quickly the vacancies. We have a lot. One of the problems in Hopkinton is we don't have enough community engagement. So we encourage you to participate in town government. Every little effort that you make is worthwhile. So we have the applications to apply for any of the commissions.
Is that online? You do it electronically?
You can't do it electronically except for the 250th commission. That's the only one that's online, but we're going to work on getting the rest of them online. It's the same one for all the commissions except for that one. That's one that I guess came down from the state and they put all twice there.
So you need a techie, right?
What?
You need a techie.
We do. That's some of the things that we need. Yeah, we need a lot, but we do need some tech. This other pack is from the Village Common of Rhode Island. I don't know if you've heard about that, but it's a group of volunteers who provide services for each other. And it's just getting off the ground. Sharon Davis, one of our other town council members, is on that steering committee to get that off the ground. So if you're, is it 65 or 55 or and older, whatever the age is, it's to help people. It's to help people stay.
Go to grocery shopping, they'll go grocery shopping, they'll take you grocery shopping, take you to doctor's appointments. They will do light maintenance, like change your light bulb on ladders.
Yeah. So it's a community volunteer organization. So we're trying to get that going here. It's called the Wood River.
Wood River Village, because we're part, it's Hopkinton, Richmond, and Exeter are together.
Yeah.
So we named our village
The Wood River. Okay, that's good. So we have that application packet up here if you're interested. And yeah, sure.
It's part of a larger group.
Right. It's a national organization all over. Right. Right. Right.
We actually are.
True. So, and there's just a one other sheet here. Hopkinton farmers are trying to establish a farmer's market. And so I urge you to just take your phone and go to this website. It'll take you to the website. There's a survey there. They need some statistics to convince the town council that we need to do this. So this is really important, and I urge you to do that.
Yeah, the Conservation Commission is providing this questionnaire.
Okay, that is from the Conservation Commission. So now, before we get on to our short presentation about smart growth, I just want to run down this list of how many openings there are on town commissions. The Economic Development Commission has 4 openings, actually. Affordable Housing Partnership can be 5 people. It's inactive. It has 3 people, but they're not meeting. So there are 2 vacancies on there. And we all know that that is something that is desperately needed everywhere, is attention to housing. Committee on Aging is inactive. There are 5 vacancies. Conservation Commission, 1 vacancy. They have 5 members. They have 4 members active. They need 1 more. Historic. What?
I'm on the Conservation Commission.
Yeah.
We have 5 active members.
Okay, then the website's not up to date. I took it right off the website. Okay, there's another indication. We need tech people. I'm sorry about that. The Historic District Commission was just established this year. It's to celebrate the 250th, or no, that's different. It has 5 members supposedly with 3 vacancies. So you can see we're needing community involvement everywhere. Juvenile Hearing Board can be up to 5. They have 2 vacancies. They have 3 members. Then the 250th Commission was commissioned by the state or asked by the state. And so they have their application online if you're interested in working on that to prepare some kind of a celebration in Hopkinton for the 250th anniversary of America. Hopkinton Rec Commission has no members. I don't know why. Tax Board of Review has 3 possible with 1 vacancy. Then there's the Zoning Board of Review, has 5 possible members with 1 vacancy. And they work closely with the Technical Review Committee, which it looks to me like is appointed as needed based on projects. Is that correct? Sure. That's what I thought. So there's a lot of work to do here. And the town council members can't do all of it. And I just want to make one quick statement about the Economic Development Commission. And actually, most of these commissions have very explicit description of what they do, what their powers are. Economic Development Commission is strictly advisory. So we're going to hear from you all in a few minutes, but I just want to stress the fact that we really can't do anything. We can come up with ideas and we can help you come up with ideas. We're really interested in what you want to see Hopkinton develop into. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Michelle McCray, who has been on the Conservation Commission, right? No.
I work with Nature Conservancy.
She worked with the Nature Conservancy and has worked, she can tell you more about herself, but we were so happy that she landed on the committee because she has ideas that are outside the box. And that's what we're looking for, is new ideas, not the same old thing. So she has a very short presentation, and then we want to hear from you. That's really why we're here. And we're going to ask you to come up to the mic so that it gets recorded. This meeting is being recorded. You can view it on YouTube, at the town YouTube channel. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you, Michelle.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of have to look at the slide here and face you. So I'm kind of doing both, but I'm Michelle McCray. Oh, yep. Is that better? Better to hear? I'm Michelle McCray. I've been a resident here for 27 years now. My children were raised here, so it went by like a flash. And for many years, I worked with the Nature Conservancy as an assistant director of major gifts for they were having a massive global campaign at the time. And I was with the Rhode Island office and did a lot of work down here, ironically, which was my own backyard. And, so that's where I first heard about this term smart growth. I don't know how many people are really familiar with this, but I'm going to just say I'm not an expert on it. I just kind of worked around it. I heard about it with the conservation groups because they worked a lot with rural areas and developing, and also in urban planning when the Nature Conservancy would get involved in cityscaping and things like that. So it touched on that. And also I worked for Rhode Island School of Design. I was their associate director of major gifts for their $85 million campaign at the time, which was a lot of building. They were building off of the museum and there was a lot of controversy. So I kind of got this inside look at, how do you plan all this? How do you come to consensus and make something happen? So anyway, what better thing to do than to talk about smart growth on a Friday night? But it's an approach to urban planning, rural town planning that really is intriguing to me. I'm not married to this concept. I'm just bringing it to you to see if this is a framework you would like to work with. I think it's very community friendly. So Leanne, could you go to the next slide? What is smart growth and why should we care? Smart growth is an approach to community design that connects housing, transportation, and land use to create healthy, prosperous, and resilient neighborhoods. Enables communities to achieve their development goals while preserving their distinct rural character. That's what really stuck with me when I first learned about this. So that's basically the philosophy behind the smart growth approach. Leanne? Okay, this is the only really boring slide I have. But the core principles for rural towns, I can't even read that to tell you the truth. Okay, maintain the history of the community. That is a very, very important core principle, which Hopkinton does splendidly. Support existing businesses, huge deal. Create complete streets. Complete streets, I think, is basically the Main Street program, if you've ever heard of the Main Street programs. And there's they're called Grow Smart Rhode Island, but they're using smart growth approaches. So I don't know how many different ways you can say the word smart and growth, but we've got them all. So anyway, so complete streets is the same thing. It's really looking at your main street and creating something that is pedestrian friendly, community friendly, inviting. There's community spaces. Also, there's mixed land uses and preserving rural landscapes. Again, Hopkinton, I mean, my God, the amount of work that Hopkinton has done in terms of preserving the rural character, but also just really, really understanding the importance of preserving lands for habitats, and encourage compact development. What that means is Smart Growth says, where you already have buildings, where do you already have buildings? What's going on there? What's empty? What's not? What's this? What's that? Mixed use is like, my neighbor down the road is downsizing, but this is her community and she wants to stay in Hopkinton. Well, you try to look for something in Hopkinton. So if there was a mixed use development, you'd have more options for seniors who want to stay here, young families too. I mean, my God, I would love it for my young kids to be able to live in Hopkinton. at some point. But anyway, sorry, go to the next slide.
What is the comp?
It's basically, and again, I'm not an expert, but the way I understand it is you'll have a building and you'll have a coffee shop, but you'll also have an apartment above the coffee shop, or you'll have, a townhouse, or it's all mixed in. And yeah, like focusing, yes, sorry, compact, yes, you make a good point. No, it's not an agreement. Yeah. So this gets complicated really fast. So this is just kind of the quick across the board here. So existing assets of Hopkinton and why it matters to us. Can move on, Leanne. The assets in Hopkinton are amazing to me anyway. We have farms. I mean, we have artists and artisans who once a year come and, they open their studio space, and we have Hop Arts. We also, 30, I wanted to say over 30 artists participate in Hop Arts, right? Yes. Okay. Okay. Wanted to make sure I was current on the information. And what that does is it creates an atmosphere for emerging artisans and artists. We have over 40 hiking trails covering 291 miles in our town. And I mean, that's just amazing to me. And it all connects to the larger contiguous forests. You have Patchogue State Forest, which is 33,000 acres, I think, and Arcadia, which runs right into it, our Arcadia Management, which is partially in Hopkinton. I think that's 14,000 acres. Anybody can shout and tell me if I'm wrong. It is in Connecticut, yes, but it's one of the few contiguous areas. It's a massive area. It's called the Borderlands, and it goes right up into this place called the Last Green Valley in Massachusetts. For hiking, people come from, I lived in Rockville for many years on Winchuck Pond. Yeah, oh, great, great. So, but anyway, we have these natural assets well protected. We have the Wood River, which is one of the most pristine rivers in southern New England. And I hear it's like a premier paddling area, kayaking. I mean, I live off Arcadia Road. It goes all summer. Anyway. So I guess the questions to the greater community is, how can we support these things? How can we benefit? How can we keep tax dollars in here? Not to make money off the backs of people, but to really support these areas and allow them the time to develop and create greater tax base. We've got quite an issue with that here in Hopkinton. And lastly, what else do we want here? I'll tell you about Keene, New Hampshire. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Keene, New Hampshire. Yeah, I went to Keene State. My daughter's at Keene State College right now. But you can see, Keene's complicated. It's got this beautiful, ultimate New England town with the church, and it's in stores, it's quaint, it's everything else. But you can see with smart growth is they kept the character of the main street, and it's almost like it spokes on a wheel. It goes around, and outer ring is where their lighter industry people are, maybe a bigger store, things like that, because they have a large population.
Rhode Island, if you've been to Pasco and Patchett, their main street is so quaint.
Yeah.
And around that, you have companies that
Mhm.
for us.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we shouldn't look at, yes, Keene is great, but why
Yeah.
don't we look at our own state?
Well, yeah, I was just using it as an example that I recently experienced. So, when I was up there with my daughter. So it's just, so anyway, that my point of that was just to say that I don't think it's an either or situation. I was here with, no big boxes, the signs up, and I completely understood why those signs were up. Because I don't want us to be reactive. And this is my personal opinion. So I don't want us to be reactive to things that come into our town. I want us to be proactive and that we have kind of a shared vision of what you want Hopkinton to be. But growth is necessary. So, anyway, okay. That's that with that slide. And I think the last slide I have is just, what is our community vision? And that's what we turn to you guys for. So, smart growth, it's basically a toolbox. You can use certain tools. You don't have to use all the tools. That's what I liked about it too, because nothing's going to be a perfect fit. There are other ways to plan, but I think this is one way that's actually you can comprehend in Hopkinton, as long as people get on board and want to do it. There's a lot of empty buildings, and it's slowly creeping the blight, and I don't want to see that happen to our town. So that's it from me. I'm going to open it up for people who want to say.
Right. Thanks, Michelle.
Go ahead.
Questions about smart growth.
Oh yes, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
I pulled up the website because that's the beauty of our world today.
Yes.
And one of the things the first things that came up is the future development map, which is mapping potential sites suitable for higher density residential development. And I've noticed that the starred locations, they're all in Richmond, the closest ones. We have a couple of starred locations for future development in Wyoming area, which certainly makes a great deal of sense. We have.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely.
I'm standing up there.
Okay.
Turn the
And then your
mic.
name, please. and
Hi,
where you
my
live.
name is Marjorie Allen. I'm resident of Rockville.
Turn the mic for her.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, that means people are scary.
They just listen to me.
My name's Marjorie Allen. As I mentioned before, I've been a resident in Hopkinton all my life. Actually, my family moved here in 1650 or so. So I've seen a lot of history coming and going, both through my own eyes and through the collective history of my family. One of the things which I've noticed here, I just pulled up the site map for smart growth, particularly the Grow Smart Rhode Island initiative.
Yeah, that's.
Grow Smart Rhode Island, yes. Yes, and one of the key features of this are what they call centers, which are shown as stars on the map. And I do appreciate the idea. They were looking at areas that have, as you said, empty buildings and a certain amount of urban infrastructure already in place. Wyoming has a water system, thanks to the unfortunate incident with the water contamination several decades ago. Old history. Dolly Park. It was a thing. But again, this is Wyoming and not Hopkinton. So once again, I am seeing a situation where Hopkinton is this wonderful location that tends to be forgotten by time and people. We are on a stop from exit 1 to the beaches. A gateway community is one way of phrasing it, but it's also a community that people do not have an impetus to stop in right now. And it sounds like you're looking at developing an area where people stop and will hopefully spend money, which is a great thing. But listening to conversations about Keene, New Hampshire, I do a lot of work over in Narragansett. I'm home health aide. So I'm traveling along the South Coast a great deal. And I see a lot of communities there that have been planned, especially on the shoreline, where you have mixed growth development. You have communities with planned communities, 55 plus in particular, but also communities that are designed for shoreline living, shall we say. And what I'm also seeing is that people can't afford to live in the town now. And that's a key factor, I think, in economic development, is not becoming a place where people can spend money, but also a place where people can afford to live. And I think that some of the things that we need to look for in order to create a more sustainable environment for families are some things that we don't have a lot of control over, unfortunately. For one thing, public transportation. Several years ago, the Rockville Mill was developed as a HUD property for affordable housing. And the owner came to me at the time looking for my support. And I said, absolutely not, Marek. That's a terrible place to put affordable housing. But the first reason is there's no public transportation. So in order to live in that facility, you need to be able to afford a car. And families who are on the edge of disaster, people who are walking the razor's edge, cars are hard to afford in this economy, especially legally. And that's something that unfortunately is becoming more and more of a reality. We need to start helping people get places, especially if we're looking at more developments with older populations. I don't know what the answer is, but I do know that this is a huge concern of mine. We used to be a town made up of many villages. Someone said that we are a village, but we aren't. We are no longer a village, and we are no longer little mini villages. We don't have, correction, we have a couple of little general stores that people can go to and get what they need, but only in certain areas. And we've all seen the people biking along the roads, using their mechanized scooters along the roads, people who can't get to some of the simple necessities of life, or even some of the simple luxuries like a slice of pizza. So I don't know what the answer is, and I appreciate all that you are doing, especially with the conservation work here. But I'm concerned that our focus also needs to be on affordability. And by that, I'm not talking about cutting taxes. Everyone's upset about taxes. No one wants to pay taxes. But I'm talking about the cost of daily living and what are things that we can do as a community to help ease the cost of daily living for the residents in our community. So I think I have talked enough. I don't think here we are.
Thank you very much, Marjorie. Don't let her scare you off from getting up here and talking, please. I love everything she said. And believe me, it's going to be well taken. I totally, I'm not for the gentrification of this area and myself being put out of being able to live here. So that is not our intent. But I do think we can tackle this problem, that starting the conversation is what we have to do. And that's what we're here to do tonight, is let's try to just get as many things out on the table as we can and see where it goes. Somebody else may have a great idea. Joe.
I'm not sure it's a great idea.
I'm sure it is. Stand here so people can see.
Joe Moreau. I just want to mention, looking around, this is not to criticize people, but looking around maybe there's 2 or 3 people here that show up to our town council meetings. Typically at our budgeting meetings, myself and maybe 1 or 2 people. That's really where it starts. Our town council does a very good job. Jasmine is on there. We have public comment. There's 2 sections for public comment where you can get up and speak and bring up your ideas. At the budgeting, it's the same thing. Brian, our town manager, Rosso, works very hard. He's excellent at getting grants for our town. But we need to hear from the residents on how do we proceed doing that. And I think it's great that we do something like this, but we need more people to show up. I mean, Sharon can tell you the same thing. The other thing that I have a question on, and maybe Sherry has it. I noticed when I was going to the veteran cemetery where Shatner's farm used to be, there's looks like a greenhouse. And I checked into it and it's called CEA, Controlled Environmental Agriculture. And I thought about how great would that be for our farmers, for one thing, in the town of Hopkinton. So I mentioned to Stephen Seipel, who's our attorney, and he checked into it, gave me a lot of information that we passed on to the town council. And the town council, along with Sherry, did a lot of work, building and zoning, to come up with an ordinance, because the town of Exeter was stopped on that project because they did not have the proper ordinances. They were going about it the wrong way. So we wanted to make sure that we did it the correct way and had an ordinance provided and then move from there. And I mean, even if we did something, a minimum of 5 acres or 10 acres on farmland, think of how that could help the town and the taxes and the farmers. So I don't know where we stand. Sherry did a great job, as I mentioned, putting this together. And it went to, at the time, it was Bob Burns was our liaison, and now Jasmine is. And I know that they were reviewing it on a council level, but I'm just not quite sure where we stand with that right now. And I think we should look into that and proceed with that. I don't know if Sherry, you've had anything to
It hasn't gone.
right. But anyway, that's all I have to say.
You have a comment?
You had
or
a
a
hand up
question?
up
How
there.
come we haven't partnered with University of Rhode Island? Because University of Rhode Island was a mech and ag school way back when. And their division of their, what is it? Land management, whatever college is. How come we don't partner with them to give open spaces? It's a state university, we piggyback off them, put an open space, do that CEA, whatever you call it. Why not? I mean,
It's a good idea, but I don't know if it applies to your point.
We have
But-
to get, that is an economic thing. That is a business, actually a business. It's taking farming to another level. It's growing food all year long,
well,
you know?
we grow the infield at the Red Sox in Tuckahoe Farms, so what's the problem? Why can't we just take it to another level? Just
Okay.
asking.
Yeah,
I'm
we
not
need a
sure.
business that is willing to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because,
And
yeah,
they're out there.
it's also employment.
Yeah.
Those big
Yeah,
greenhouses
but
are
you make
employment.
it in the graduate school as part of your internship to get your master's or PhD in ag. And they're giving you the expertise, they're getting the credits. I mean, it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, but you still have to have somebody who wants to bring the students to go to.
Yeah.
Give them a tax
Go.
break.
I think it's a great idea to partner with URI, and we need to figure that out. Thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah, that really
Yeah.
is, it is
Th-
good.
thank you, Etta.
It's
Thank you.
twisted,
Betsy?
complicated. Everything's complicated.
Yeah, be careful.
Hi, I'm Betsy Dalton. I live in Hopkinton. I live actually in the village of Hope Valley, a couple doors up from the Langworthy Public Library. And driving here, I saw like 3 new homes that are along the main road there. So I thought, well, that's pretty good, but probably those homes cost about between $300,000 and $500,000, I would guess, in today's market. So I was thinking, okay, well, that's good. It could bring in some tax monies from a family. But I think, Marjorie, you have some very excellent points in terms of meeting the needs of the full community. But what I wanted to ask is, how can we leverage the buildings that we have now to make them into something that is going to be attractive? And actually, I'm so glad you're here, Jasmine, because I was wondering if the town council has done anything, or if anybody has done anything to advertise about the buildings that are available in Ashaway, the buildings that are available in Hope Valley, the buildings that are available for development, and to maybe make a statement that we would invite new ideas. We'd invite creative and, creative smart development, maybe even just get behind that, but utilize the buildings we already have. And I think that that would be a first step to revitalizing Ashaway, Hope Valley. What are the other villages we have? Rockville, Bradford. Is Bradford in Hopkinton? No, it's in Westerly. Yeah, so I mean, Ashaway and Hope Valley, those are the ones that I know the most, but there could be more that are tucked away that could be, I mean, I don't know if all of you remember Shannock and the development that went on there. And then, it wasn't handled in a way that it was sustainable. So we'd need to have the planning, but the good thing is we have a advisory council that is thinking about that. So I think we're well positioned to be able to take that on. But it's going to take the support from, and some, careful planning with town council too, to think about how can that be opened up, because it shouldn't be just planning that's happening with the people that are here, but to bring in other ideas and other monies. And if we could do that, then maybe we could take some good steps on getting some other sources of income here other than just the taxes on properties.
Thank you, Betsy.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane. Great point. This is where you need to get your money. Does anybody remember the point section of Newport in the 1970s? How did that get developed? The Doris Duke Foundation. That foundation is to develop colonial places. You could get a mortgage to fix up any home in the point for 0.5%. Town at that time, of course.
Yeah.
But the Doris Duke Foundation is very prominent in Newport and in the state. So yes, I'm going to apply for one of those economic positions, because don't ask, don't get. And why can't we ask that foundation for $1 million and buy those 3 crappy homes that are on Main Street? And you know who's going to fix them up? We're going to use Charahoe High School, because they have a carpentry program, and they're going to fix it up, and then we will make it affordable housing or turn it into something like that. I mean, the most that we pay in our taxes, and our taxes are really high here, goes to the school system. But the school system has developed in the last 20 years since I moved here into a stellar thing, especially their VOTEC program. I mean, come on, the guy who was an electrician was on that Atlanta program. Yeah. Good on him. But the carpentry program is great. They could use it as a project. And if there's not enough people, we could take another VOTEC school and help do it. There's only a few homes. I mean, how much is it going to cost? That's the foundation, $1 million, 4 homes, 250 each, boom, it's done. And then it'll be cute, like Chepachet and Pasco. as soon as you hit the Situate Police Station until you get to Bucks Hill Management, because I hike a lot in the state, it's all cute. It's not, it's the town that everyone forgot, but it's cute there. Has anybody driven through Pasco recently? Do you know how cute that is? We could be that cute, but we're not cute. It's trashy here. It is, it's trashy. I mean, all you have to do is during Christmas, be like Bristol, put your white lights in the candle. If you live in a window, if you live on Main Street, put a little bit of flowers out. All you need is like curb appeal, and it becomes cute. That's what I have to say.
What's
Yes.
the name of that foundation?
Doris Duke Foundation.
Oh,
Doris Duke.
Yes.
Seriously,
Doris.
tobacco.
Sharon.
So,
And there are probably others.
oh, there are others. And there are people, I mean, those of you who know the
That's
point,
Ryan doing it. Go ahead.
those of you who know the point section, and you remember back in the 70s, I mean, I wouldn't walk down that in ever. Now it's like, oh, I can't even afford to walk down that. So we can do the same thing there. All it takes is a little initiative.
Be sure you pick up an application.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm retired.
Hey, Sharon.
Sharon?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I have been trying. What I think we need is a grocery store. So I have, and I think it should be like Charlestown Mini Super. So I studied that because I used to live and use that store. Charlestown Mini Super has 4,960 square feet. And I think their father died recently, so maybe the kids might be interested in branching out. But we got to find where we're going to get that kind of space. And I kind of looked at the Brick and Grills. It's at 209 Main Street. Yeah, it has 3,344 square feet. It is owned by, tell you who it's owned by Kendo Real Estate, and they're renting it out right now. But I mean, that's a place. I've looked, and I think that if somebody contacted Charlestown Mini Super, asked them if they'd be interested in expanding, that might be a good way to start that. I've looked at 12, where is that? 1044 Main Street, and that's owned by Lawrence and Wendy Walsh. Yep, 1,272 square feet. So there are places that I'm looking and looked, but I don't think it's totally my responsibility, but I'm passing this on. I think we need a grocery store. That's my thing.
Since we're pulling information here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charleston Mini Super, I'm not sure if the children are actually interested in the very long hours that their father put into this facility. However, McQuaid's market is very similar. And the McQuaid family have residents in Hopkins. Yes.
Pond, yeah.
They live at Winchuck Pond. Yeah.
I believe the McQuaid's own the hardware store, but
That's good too, because there's a McQuaid's in Westerly.
there's a.
Marketplace, McQuaid's Marketplace.
Yes, there's one in Midwest, there's one in
Yeah.
Mystic, and there's a third one.
There is.
Is it Jamestown?
I think you're right, yes. Yep.
But since we are talking about residents.
That's a good idea. I mean, we need a grocery store, my number one. And some people didn't like the fact that we opened up and are now allowing a neighborhood gas station. I'm not talking about necessarily the one that's in Ashaway. I'm talking about something that's up here in Hope Valley. Looking for a space for us to do a gas station in Hope Valley. That's the other thing I want. That's what we want. Yeah, you used to. Yeah, but you don't have one now. So now you have the ability to have one because we opened up and created that ordinance for neighborhood gas stations. So if you know somebody who wants to have a gas station, they have to go through a lot of DEM and everything else kind of certification, but at least those are things that I'm tired of driving to Richmond to get my gas. You know, those are the kind of things that I was looking for. And
Or your coffee.
I don't go for my coffee.
I go to Cummings every morning.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Five, 6 guys and ladies from Hopkinton to get coffee.
And right. And the other thing that I'm trying to find or thinking about what to do with Hope Valley Elementary. I just don't know what to do with that.
And
Yeah.
Barbers Hall too, Sharon. What, Barbers Hall? Barbers Hall.
The brick.
The place where the fabric store was?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's a big building. And it has a safe in that building.
Yeah.
That fabric shop has a safe. Because it used to be a bank.
Right.
Yeah, it used to be a bank.
It's gonna require a lot of money.
Still gonna be
Probably.
It is
It's
just
the entire second floor, it's all stair access. You need to build an exterior elevator.
I know.
It's been one of my lottery ticket dreams for a while.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. But I mean, we're trying to come up with some ideas, and those are and that thing that used to have the, it's right there at the corner across from no, that's what we're just talking about. The one that's a brick building that has a safe in it. But the other building, pardon?
It has a full stage
Oh, okay,
upstairs.
okay. And the other thing was the building that's right there on the corner of Mechanic. And, you know, it's a big building. It used to have the Republican whatever was in there. It's a nice big building. Oil? Oh, okay. But that's a big building that's sitting there. And also the building that had, that's like maybe near the post office that it has a metal stanchion in the front that's holding the front door up. It's made out of metal, it's not wood. That building is empty too. You know what I'm talking about?
No, it's not the Grange. Yeah, I know where you're talking about.
It's just a little,
house.
yeah,
It's a
no,
house.
no, yes, it's across from the Hope Valley Post Office. And it's got this metal thing that's holding up the front.
That sounds like a Doris Buchanan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that might be one of the 4 that you're talking about. I mean, I have looked, and in my mind, I know what I want. I want a grocery store and I want a gas station in Hope Valley. Yes,
I
ma'am.
have a question. Does anybody know in the Hopkinton area, what percentage of the people that live here are veterans or retired military? Because, so I'm thinking of these buildings and maybe the gentleman who has that center, why can't we have a CVOC here?
Have a what?
A CVOC, it's a veterans clinic. If you serve in the military, it's a clinic, and you said the safe, okay, that's great, because in pharmacy, you have to have drugs, you put it in there.
Hi, I can take this one. So I was inquiring about contacting the VA and seeing if we can use the Hope Valley School and make it like a VA clinic, because we don't have anything down in the southern part of the state. My brother is a veteran and he has some issues. And, you know, over the past year, he's had to go up there quite a few times on emergency, and he lives in West Warwick. So he's going to get my mom to come up to see him, to bring him to the VA up in Providence. And I think that, you know, or some type of like wounded warrior or, you know, some kind of thing like that to put into that building, they have the funds to bring it to ADA compliance.
You can make it a skilled nursing facility.
It can be a lot of things. And there are a lot of empty buildings in this community.
Both Jack Reed, he's a veteran. I
Mhm.
mean, you contact his office, he would be on so we would be on board with this in a heartbeat. I
Yeah.
mean, look at the school, you could turn them into two-persons rooms,
Mm-hmm.
and you could make it into a.
There's a bunch of ideas that's why we're here tonight. And I value your ideas. I think that you're writing this down?
We're recording it.
Okay, well, I know we do minutes too. So it's nice to have ideas on paper. So that way we can go back and refer to those things and say, you know what, this woman had a great idea. You know, I think we should have a subscriber link or for a monthly newsletter that's put out by either town council or a secretary, Marita, or town clerk, something like that. So that way, you know, people can be informed on what we're doing and what's going on. Because like I've heard a lot of you say, there is a lot of empty buildings, and that was a problem for me too. And that's why I'm here. Yes.
Suggestion that I would have is that the town council or someone from the town is to make an inventory.
Absolutely. That has been something I have had on my list. Mm-hmm.
With descriptions of
Everything you guys have been saying.
square footage.
Yeah, I've been nodding, saying, yep.
The nature of it, what's in it, you know, things like that. And then that could be used to promote.
Right.
advertising.
Absolutely. And we want to bring in businesses that they can get into the community, you know, either from residents or I don't want big corporations coming in here and just, you know, earlier this year, I actually sponsored a resolution for the General Assembly to return back the tax revenue sharing. Because a percentage of the revenue that is made in Hopkinton from taxes, like 7% tax, if they started that again, a certain percent of that money spent in Hopkinton would come back to the municipality to offset taxes. And that is a great idea. They stopped that in 2010, reasons unknown to me. However, I sent it to all the other towns and it went up, and I don't know what it will happen with that. That's up to them in the top, right? We work from the bottom up. That's where we get the most help, is from our citizens, from our active people, from our community and our schools. The youth are important to integrate into civics of our community to keep them engaged, because if they're not engaged, then they're not going to want to stay. And then what do we do? So as Economic Development Commission liaison, I am here to help the commission and to be helpful to them for whatever they need from town council. But I take all of your ideas and all your suggestions, and I'm sitting there and I'm just shaking my head going, yep, I agree. Yes.
I like Mary Jane's idea about, you know, using local school in order to, you know, get them to work on the buildings.
Absolutely.
Have her come up to the mic.
Do you want to come up to the mic so we can hear you?
Going on the school of design, you know, to maybe develop some buildings down there, but have commercial on the bottom. And
Mhm.
residential on top. Not just
That could be an
residential.
option in the village areas, you know, like in the village areas. Like if you go down to Wickford, you know, when I was a teenager, I used to drive down to Wickford in my little beater because that's all I could afford as a kid, you know, because I worked hard. I had a job at 14. Do we know any 14-year-olds here nowadays that have jobs? Exactly. So if we engage the community through the youth and we get them excited, get them off these things that you know, my son's on one right now because he needs to be quiet. However, yeah, there's endless ideas. Yeah. Yes. I do like Sharon's idea, and I do love the mention of the grants that you suggested, because that is something that we'll definitely look into, because why not, right?
And I will say that in terms of the kids working on the buildings, that Charahoe's kids helped with Habitat for Humanity.
Yes, they did, yes.
Build those buildings that are on.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, they're.
The possibilities are endless when we're all engaged in doing things and giving ideas and showing up to meetings. And because like someone else had said that was standing up here, you know, we're just 5 people up here, you know, and I'm just one person. So the more people that come and give ideas, the better we can serve you as community members and taxpayers. And I really want good things like little shops. I was a shop owner in Hopkinton, and 2020 closed my business. I only had 900 square feet. It wasn't a big, big business, but it did close it. And that's a vacant building still. So, we need to bring things in that are going to be good for the community, but also a destination stop and also economically sound. We can't just throw things in here and expect it to thrive. We have to be particular on what we put where.
I have a suggestion regarding.
Yep.
Talking about shops which have been very successful and have become a destination. Perhaps we should be talking to the owners of Happy Livery.
Yeah.
Asking them.
I wish they would have come tonight.
Well, they're older.
Yeah.
They were invited personally.
Oh, they were.
Oh, yeah.
Mon
Every
Paz.
business in Hope Valley
Yeah.
and Ashaway were.
So these ladies have invited all the businesses in Hope Valley. Who is here? Who is here? So this is what I'm talking about. We got to start from the bottom and go up. We have to really start turning around into our communities and saying, we need help.
I have one question for you. Ashaway Vine and Twine, is that a active business or not? Yes.
Yes. And they have a
Okay, 'cause that's the
foundation.
oldest, that's the oldest.
They have a foundation.
They have a foundation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I?
Okay.
Sure. Let's let everybody talk. Yeah.
Am I putting an envelope here? Do you?
No, please, we're not done.
That's what this is for. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Jean Arthur, and my husband and I and my daughter, who's living in Boston right now, we used to live in Warren, Rhode Island, and we had a store there, and I had an art studio there on the first floor of our building. We lived on the second floor. So regarding our downtown, I go downtown from Arcadia Road where we live. We live out in the woods. And I go downtown often because walking on Arcadia Road with my dog is difficult at times, and it's nice to walk around the park. So the problem for me is that I'd like to see the Economic Development Commission focus on the character of Main Street, which to me, our Main Street has become a cut through. So it's a cut through for a lot of Connecticut people, because when I'm driving down Main Street to go to West Bakery or the park, I am trying to obey the 25-mile-per-hour limit for driving, but I often creep up to 30 to 35 because there's someone directly on my bumper. And it's often a Connecticut plate. And they're rushing to get to Route 3 so they can go off to Connecticut in Voluntown or wherever. And so this cut-through business and, going really fast through town with very narrow sidewalks. So I recommend widening the sidewalks. And I'm sure you've all discussed this, right? And so widening the sidewalks, because when I walk with my dog from the park on the sidewalk to go to the funeral home or any other place, the sidewalks are so narrow and the cars are so fast. I'm petrified sometimes because he's an older dog and there's about 8 inches between us and a car going 40 miles an hour. And so widening the sidewalks would also help with pedestrian traffic. and even putting a giant crosswalk someplace, maybe near Monpause, who knows, but some giant crosswalk, because even to cross the road is hard. And so instead of it being looked at as a convenience for cars, we need to get the cars, to make the cars not number one, but our downtown number one. And so right now the cars are number one. So a large colorful crosswalk, wider sidewalks, and maybe something what they've done, like what they've done on Blackstone Boulevard on the east side is one of those traffic automatic ticketing things where if you go past 25 miles per hour, you get a ticket, and I'm sure this would bring in much revenue. I also believe that we should, as a town, exert term limits for empty buildings. And so I don't know how you do that, but we need to have a backbone for that. And also we could, if we had a historical society commission, we could help with maybe getting tax incentives to keep buildings looking nice downtown that are antique buildings. There's a ton of them. And so they could get some sort of tax, I don't know, break, thank you, for painting their homes as if they were when they were first built. Now, I know that goes against maybe a modern look, but at least they're getting painted. And they do look nice. And I've seen that happen in Warren, Rhode Island, where I used to work. I mean, and live. And so I think that mixed use idea and the idea for a veterans place on the Hope Valley Elementary School is very good. And I guess I'm just going to wrap this up with, I guess that's it. I had a couple other things, but they're all over the place. So I'll come to the next meeting.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Just on the subject of Main Streets, you guys can hear me, right? Can you hear me? The smart growth thing I kind of buzzed through tonight. Their major suggestion is to commit to taking a self-assessment, the town taking a self-assessment, all kinds of people take, and that's all in here, you know, of those sidewalks and all of these things are touched on. It's quite complex, but what they say to people who are looking at taking this on is they say, do a small project. Do a small project that has a lot of visibility and excites people and draws other people into the process, because it is going to take a huge amount of time and effort. And, you know, you don't have to take it on all at once, just small bites. And also, I think I don't want to speak for the commission, but I know that Etta and I really looked at the villages as, you know, they're their own personalities. And we want to really make those pop out. And, you know, but somehow having connection with each other, with the various villages. So you can start out with a small project. And also, Deb just informed me before the meeting started that there's a conference in October 25th for the Main Street program. So I or anybody who wants to go can go, but I'm willing to learn more about it. Oh, did she? She already registered. So yeah. Is it a state? Well, it's by growth.
It's going to be at Cranston High School East.
I don't know what it is.
It's by Grow Smart, Rhode Island, and they're kind of like a hybrid agency. Yeah.
It's statewide.
Yeah. So.
But it's not sponsored.
I actually have one technical question. I'm sorry. Sure. We were talking about Main Street, but we're also, we need to take into account, Main Street is also Route 3.
Right.
And Route 138. So we're
State.
talking about crosswalks, walks and sidewalks, and I'm not sure how much the town actually has an impact on that. That's a state road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
We can find out.
Reach out to your rep or your senator for your district. Because if the state roads, because I was driving off of exit 1 to come into Hopkinton, and there was all trash all over the side of the exit. And I was like, oh, this will not do, not on the border of our town. You know, like, so I went and I talked to the DOT guys, and I said, is this a state or a local? And they said, oh, that's state. And I said, hey, can you guys take a ride over there maybe? And so they did. And now when people come off that exit, they don't see a trashy area. They see something cleaner.
We need better communication all the way around. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kathy Walker, and I live in Hope Valley. I'm an owner over at Lynbrook Green Condos. So I believe I've met Sherry. Another thing, I know a few people have mentioned, their disappointment or, they would like to see better, some of the buildings in the central area of our town look and appear better, even if it's in a historic type style. So over at the Condo Association, it really is very much like a small community. We have a board, we have governing documents. And so it's, I've lived there for 4 years now. Beth also lives there as well. And I really, really love it here. I grew up in Newport, lived in Connecticut for a while, and I'm back to Rhode Island. I really love this area. So, however, when I purchased the condo, I was completely unaware of what the nightmare was with Lynbrook Green Golf Course. It's all overgrown.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I love your statement. Is the golf course still owned by Mohegan or Foxwood, or is it by the bay?
The golf course, Lynbrook Green,
On the circle, right?
39 acres adjacent, bordering our condo development, is owned by an out-of-state, privately owned.
Right, the guy lost it in gambling at one of the casinos. That's what happened. That's why it went belly up in 2004.
Whatever. I don't know. I don't know.
No, it's owned by a private family. The golf course was actually, so I actually played the league there. And it's owned by a private family.
Yeah.
In Connecticut. The situation there is very unfortunate because there were a lot of condo owners that bought these properties thinking we're going to be on this beautiful golf course. And the situation with the water company is a whole other different situation. But just listening to, and I see a lot of familiar faces, and some of you I don't know. My name is Sherry Desjardins. I'm a zoning officer with the town in the building and zoning office. I'm a resident of Hopkinton for 36 years now. And as a matter of fact, next week starts year 24 at the town. Yeah. So this is very exciting to me because, as Etta said earlier, it's been over 17 years without an EDC. So it's kudos to you guys to get this going and get this train rolling again. Yeah, let's face it, we need to revitalize. Putting on my zoning hat and the logistics hat, and I understand, that building, the remnant shop, beautiful building, nobody wants to see it go. But you have to look at the feasibility of what is possible there. I've gotten many, many calls on it. There's no way that you could have a 35-seat cafe in there. There's only 8 parking spots. We can't make any more parking spots there. The septic goes under the road onto a property across the street. So when talking about these things, we can't obviously create any more parcels. We have to look at what we have and see what would be feasible uses for some of these properties. And I am so sorry.
Well, I do have a point that I wanted to
yours.
make, is that this is really a nice parcel. It's right off of Woodville Alton Road. It defunct golf course at this time. There are 3 buildable lots, from what I understand, about 39 acres. And unfortunately, the condo associations, North Gardens and Lynbrook, are completely reliant on this owner from Connecticut to supply our water. Our condos land is not large enough to build our own wells. So we are completely dependent on a privately owned public water system, all right? And we've been fighting. You know, I've been here for 4 years now, and it's just, you know, it's impossible. We can't deal with these people. They're non-existent. They don't answer our calls. They have EPA violations. It's a nightmare. So we're hoping that a decision is made soon by the EPA to do something, you know, with the water system. And when they do, we're hoping that a nonprofit, I just formed a nonprofit that is comprised of both condo associations, not just Lynbrook, but both. And so we're hoping to be able to form a nonprofit, take over the land and utilize the existing buildings. There's an old golf club clubhouse meeting place that has a beautiful view of all the land. So, you know, there's a lot of, hopefully there'll be some opportunity. And I'm very excited to hear this commission is in place because someone like myself and other owners in that area are really going to be reliant when we need to go after grant funding or, you know, resources that may be available for us to, you know, correct all these issues. So, so anyway, you know, does anyone have any questions? Yeah, it's a really unfortunate situation, but I know that in Hopkinton, Hope Valley, there's a very limited area that has access to the Richmond water. It's only down Main Street. So everyone else is reliant upon wells, including our condo development. So.
I think you just made a really important point that we need a good plan.
Well, here's the thing, okay? So I pay attention a lot to what goes on in the GA. And if you don't know what that is, that's a General Assembly, okay? And that is in the State House in Providence. And there was zoning and planning and a bunch of things that the state was trying to basically do a one-size-fits-all for every town. When it comes to zoning, planning, all of that. So if we're all on wells and they want, you know, us to conform to town water, that's going to be a large expense on the taxpayers, the homeowners, because I guarantee that some of you will be responsible for some part of the payment of the water line. So these are things that are coming from the top. That's why I would say when I say we want to work from the bottom up, so that way we can send things to the top and say, listen, this is what we want in Hopkinton. It's not a cookie cutter type of bill. It's not one size fits all. We are a unique area with a lot of land and a lot of potential. And like you said, you guys are totally dependent on that. That is a shame. And that's the first I've heard of it. I mean, I've just only been on the council for a short time, but that's the first I've heard of it, and that's just terrible.
You know, I've made so many phone calls over the last 2 years.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, something's got to be done, and that is unfortunate because it's if I could intervene and do something, I have a loud mouth, so I would talk. But because it's a private it's a private owned property, you know, that's probably civil litigation. However, when you go up to the State House, you know, when time comes for the session to reopen up there, we need people to come up and testify to things so that we could say, no, this is not what we want. We don't want a one size fits all type of zoning and planning and telling us what we can do and what we can't do, or how it needs and must be. We have our own departments and our own municipalities and powers. And if we don't stand up and say, hey, no, we don't want that, they're going to steamroll us. And the next thing you know, you're going to be checking back in with us in the town and saying, I haven't seen a meeting or been to a meeting in a while. Why is this happening? And I'm going to say, well, the bill came through and we need people to get involved.
We want, town water.
No, I'm saying if we were to put in like a building somewhere, like let's take Sharon's idea, a grocery store, and we needed new construction, we don't have a water plumbing. Yes, we all are on wells.
Right.
So it's infrastructure.
A little bit of Richmond, a little bit of.
Right. We get some of our water from Westerly. So it's different. But like I have a well. All the people in my neighborhoods, they have wells. And so when they were talking about zoning and planning and all of that, they were up at the State House, they were talking about like taking plots of land and then cutting them up again. Yeah. So this is like all over the whole state. So it's not just one size fits all, because if you have an acre lot and you can cut it into 8 pieces, where are you going to put your sewer, your well? They're going to be too close. So that would be an undevelopable lot. So what I'm saying is pay attention to what's going on, not only in your town, but also at the state level, because what happens up there trickles down here, and we can only work our way up because we are from this town. Yes.
I will say that the legislature goes through 1,000 bills in a session.
Yeah.
1,000. So how do you track everything?
There's a website that you can go onto. It's like an app, like a tracker, a bill tracker. So you can know which ones that interest you or ones that you might want to be more devoted to.
Correct. And the Rhode Island City of League.
Yep.
League of Cities and Towns is
they're a good resource too.
That it has been following.
Yes.
They give us every week, they tell us where the bills are.
Right, but that comes to us. That doesn't go to everyone in the town. So if you're interested in knowing more, you can always go to a bill tracker app or something that is like that. So that way you can get more involved in what's going on in your state and also your town and how it might affect you in the future.
Thank you. Very good.
You're welcome.
Jasmine, we really need to know that.
Before Sam gets up here to talk, I just want to say, we do have refreshments in here. If you need something to drink or something to eat to keep you alive, please help yourselves. Because it can go as late as we need to. I can shut down. Yeah. So be sure and introduce yourself.
Yes. Can you hear me okay? I'm a little shorter than most. Bend it down. Awesome. Thank you. My name's Sam Wilcox. For those of you who don't know me, I live in Hope Valley, but actually on the Richmond side of Hope Valley, I'm the town council president for the town of Richmond. So I'm really excited to hear all of your ideas for our town. I stood up because I did want to mention some bills that had come through that relate to economic development. The first one I'm just going to mention one for today. There was a bill that was presented that would abolish the meal and beverage tax. And all of the economic development that we're doing is to help with our tax base. And the meal and beverage tax does not affect the state budget. It affects the town budget. And for Richmond, that would have taken about $200,000 away from our town budget. And so when we're looking to places like Mon Pa's, places like West Bakery, it's my neighborhood. And I like to have businesses that serve us, but also have that tax revenue come in so that we can reduce our burden on the taxpayers there. Some ideas that I really liked tonight were the mixed use properties for seniors and starter homes. My dad's a senior and it was so hard for him to find a place near his grandchildren and near his family. So that way we can help support him as he ages. And my son is a senior this year. And it's kind of scary to wonder, like, is he going to be able to afford to live here on his own? And what he's going to do next. So I think that those are really important when it comes to development that we could have a storefront on the bottom and apartments on the top. And actually, you may not know it, but there's apartments in Exeter that are very similar to that, where they have that mobile and there's a pizza place. My daughter did dance there. There's apartments above the dance studio. So I think that's a good option here too. Yeah, really random. But to circle back to your presentation, and one of the questions I wrote down was, how can we support smart growth in businesses? And I think this goes for Richmond and Hopkinton is ecotourism, right? We talked about the Wood River, and Exeter just got a troll right over the Richmond border. It's in Exeter. And we need to bring people here who will enjoy our parks and treat them right. People who like kayaking and hunting and fishing and just hiking or mountain biking. There's so much to do out there. And I think that we can use ecotourism to draw people to our town, maybe have some shops that would serve our residents who enjoy those outdoor things, but then also as people come through and their bike chain breaks and they need a new one, boom. Also, so leading to the next question I wrote down was, what else do we need here? We need businesses that serve the residents, to a grocery store. So I know you may not want to drive all the way to Richmond for a grocery store, but we only have one, which makes competition difficult, raises prices. Sorry to say this publicly, but that's kind of Stop and Shop's MO. We're not the only community they do that to. So having competition is healthy and it helps with prices for us and for everyone else. I will say, I'm so sorry, Sharon, but I do disagree with the Hope Valley fire gas station. I almost said fire station, just because we have them so close and those can be difficult. So I just think like, it's not that far in Hope Valley. We can agree to disagree, but I can see like, you know, my daughter's friend lives on the other side of Hopkinton. So I have to drive through all the time, stop at Spicer's a lot. And so I can see why other areas may want one, but it can be a touchy subject. Also, when it comes to rural communities, some advice for the committee. Last year, during my first term on council, we were looking into different options for economic development. And I had learned that Foster went to the effort of hiring an expert to do some research for them. And now we are learning from that. And it's great. That expert basically told them to use Route 6 as their growth area and then let the other areas be conserved, let it be more natural, let it be what it should be. And I think Richmond's going to have that through Wyoming, which was mentioned earlier, but that can come down through Hope Valley and we can expand upon that and do it together. I love when I see Richmond and Hopkinton work together, especially because I'm so close to Wood River. My access point is Hopkinton, and I often see our police departments work together. I know our DPWs work together, so it'd be great for economic development to work together as well. Yeah, I'm a little surprised our chair isn't here. He's probably flying, so let's give him that. Yeah, so I think that's all I have for now, so thanks for listening.
Thank you. Sure, come on up. Bill?
I'm going to change the subject line a little bit here, but it's been mentioned, but I don't think enough.
Okay.
I'm Bill Prince. I live in Hope Valley off of Sawmill up towards Yagu Camp.
No, that's not that.
I'm not that,
Pleasant View.
I'm not that far up to be on Rockville. I have a Hope Valley zip code, so
Yes.
I'm part of the valley. I grew up in South Kingstown, just over the line from Richmond, where all the turf fields are. So I'm going to turn it to agriculture. I like the idea, and I'll take a shot of the farmer's market thing. But the other thing that I haven't heard mentioned is, to go along with what Sharon was saying, restaurants. If you're going to have ecotourism, you got to have restaurants. And that means more than pizza or Chinese. You know, both Richmond and Hopkinton have pretty much the same things. I have not been into the preserves for their high-end thing. Where I lived in Virginia for better than 20 years, we had a town next to us that was in the Main Street program. And their downtown area was a mix of nice shops, and nice restaurants. We had one with a cordon bleu trained chef, another a presidential chef for one of the presidents. I don't remember at this time who he was, but so some high-end restaurants. Now, we can tie that into agriculture if we get some of the agriculture we were just talking about with like Shartner's. Exactly. So those are some of the ideas that I'd like to throw out. And as far as the old bank building, I understand parking is a problem. So it makes it difficult to
Beautiful
do.
building, no parking.
Yeah. But, maybe part of it could be converted into small incubator type offices to give some small businesses a chance to build. So those are my ideas.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, good idea.
Is there anybody else who would like to give an opinion? Come on up. Come on up. Look, you're not going to have this chance again for a while, so you don't want to.
I'll make you
Hi, my name is Beth Cotter. I am very new to Hope Valley. I moved into the Lindbergh Green condominium units not even 2 years ago. Got myself right on the board, dealing with the water thing with Kathy. It's been a lot of fun, but I'm listening to everybody talk and I don't know my way around because I am a business owner. My businesses are in North Kingstown where I lived for 20 years in Wickford. So when I hear people talking about like, I love Wickford and I love South Kingstown, Wakefield, they've just done something. A lot of the buildings on Main Street in Wakefield were just purchased and they're going to be rehabbed and they're turning restaurants into things. It's going to be really quite awesome. And Wickford has its struggles, and right now they're working on the water, the waterways and the harbor area. And they still have a lot of empty buildings, and that's been a big problem for North Kingstown, as well as like Hopkins is very similar. They are starting to make the empty buildings at least keep them attractive. I think it's a good, easy place to start. Go back to the owners and just say, look, I'm sorry that your building's not rented, but you got to cut the grass or you got to keep the front painted. And what North Kingstown did for a short time, I don't know if it's stuck around for a long time, is they would fine the owners of the building if they didn't cut the grass. If it was higher than 10 inches or something like that, I think it was something like that, or 8 inches, they would get a fine for whatever. So it's a simple little thing that you can do. I love the bank building. I actually went down there with my son and we were having dreams about moving my businesses into that building and living upstairs and just like loving it. But it is so difficult to do. And I'm so busy. I don't have the time to think about it. But my bigger concern was parking, as you've all mentioned. So the question I have is, and I don't even know the boundaries of the village in question. So I don't know. A lot of times, like in Wakefield, the parking, most of it is behind the buildings, between the bike path or the river and the buildings. And I don't know what the opportunity is there. And I don't know if anybody's thought about it. It's just a thought that I have throwing that out. As somebody, well, now you all know what I do for a living. So I am the Washington County lice lady. So I've had a shop in North Kingstown, a salon for 10 years. And so I hear a lot of things about kids. And one of the biggest problems my parents from Washington County have is that there are no pediatricians, right? And why are there no pediatricians? Because there's no hospital to align themselves with. I'm not suggesting Hopkinton build a children's hospital, but these are obstacles that become a problem because parents aren't going to move. When they start to get wind, a lot of my parents have moved. I've met them over 10 years and some of them came in, their kids were babies and they've already moved to new areas for simple things like they don't have medical care. I love Wood River, but I want it to be, it needs to be bigger and broader. So I know we can't solve that. I'm just throwing it out there as food for thought, because how do you build a community and make it great? You have to start from the ground, right? You have to build it up. You have to get people to want to live here, to put their kids in school here, to work close by, to go out and eat and do their Christmas shopping or their holiday shopping or their gift shopping locally. So I love that. I think that we can do a lot of things. Another thing that concerns me, and I don't know how much of this we actually have, but I do see this poor gentleman. We seem to have some homelessness going on, and some squatters and people living in lean-tos and such. And I don't know if we have anything for that, but we certainly have enough empty buildings that maybe we could do something with that, or, at least temporary housing and stuff like that. And then as we go back to the beginning of the meeting, where's the public transportation out here? My kid needed to get to work in Point Judith for the summer. He had to buy a car. That's insane. Right. And I'm just flabbergasted by this. Like, there's not even a bus going through that I have to go to Providence and then down. There's nothing. How did that happen? Well, we need to fix that. That to me is priority number one, because how do the kids get out of town and go do some fun things safely if they can't take a public transportation? Anyway, I digress.
I have two things for you on that. One is Charico used to have an afternoon buses. It was back when we were on double sessions. But senior high school kids who stayed after school could hop on the junior high school bus to get home. So they could actually stay after school for activities, but still get home safe.
Yeah. But the public transportation should be going through. There are people who can't live here because they can't get to work.
Yes.
Right? How are you going to get to work in North Kingstown or Providence or Warwick if you can't get there?
By breaking the law.
Or that.
That's what.
You're right.
Why so many people are breaking the law in this town. And I have to say good things for our cops for being considerate.
Well, I'm not accusing anybody of breaking the law.
They do not, good, they do sell the late bus. They have, it's good. They don't go to the same stops, they look like hubs, so like in Hope Valley, they have one at West Bakery, and then all the kids, because they're older. But it's something for the kids, so the kids can participate in that. My other thing was, my lottery dream was actually dealing with the bank building. So my lottery winner's dream was to buy the property across the street where Taylor Rental was, and use that for parking.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
you should join the EDC, but
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right.
If you want to get.
So,
It's something for kids.
yeah. We've heard a lot of suggestions that, believe me, the six of us have never even discussed. So we are very grateful for you to have come and share these ideas with us. And like I said, a couple of years ago when I joined the EDC and I went in for the interview by the town council, and the first thing they said was, "Well, what do you know about economic development?" I said, "Absolutely nothing, but we have to start the conversation." And I think that's what we're doing here. And they appointed me and I still know very little about economic development, but I'm learning, and we all need to learn new ideas and, come up with new ideas of how to cope with these things. So please, before you leave, grab something to eat, have some more conversation. We will be up here for you to talk to us more if you want to individually. And, please join.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.